Andrea Shaw. However, Andrea Shaw has the whole package, and especially the feminine part. And I think that that's still, I'm glad that they chose her as the winner and they have continued, because, you know, we're not, just because we do this, just because we want to have muscles, doesn't mean we want to be men. Doesn't mean we want to, you know, just, hey, whoa, 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 you know, like, no, like, we're still women. We still are feminine. And I think she portrays that absolutely beautifully. She has the size, she has the shape, and she has the femininity. And I really think that that sets her apart. I mean, she's gorgeous. She is literally gorgeous.
Yeah, because that thing is like, especially society, they're not really open to the idea of women with muscle. I know I talk to some ladies, like they get comments like, "Hey, trying to be manly," or sometimes I post stuff because, you know, especially my YouTube, my IG is mostly dedicated to the women. I post stuff and I have people make comments. I delete the comments because if you don't like it, here's the advice for you: don't say nothing, you know, or, you know, just mind your business. But it's a sport where it's about, you have to love it what you do, because it's not a lot of money in it, especially the bodybuilder. Because, you know, as an amateur, you have to pay for your entry fees, and you still have to pay for your sanction fees and this and that. And for you women, like I said again, it costs more for y'all to compete compared to the men. As I say, the guys got to wear banana hammocks and board shorts. That's it. Y'all ladies have to have your hair and makeup done. You have to have your nails done. You have to look presentable. That both that muscle and femininity together. And the guys got to do is put on some tanning, and that's it. And the cost of a competitor, you know, you have to travel to the shows. You know, you have to, everything, your coach's fees, everything. Like, what do you think sponsorship will help you as a competitor? Are you sponsored?
So I am not sponsored, and I would love a sponsorship because this sport is expensive. I mean, especially like just my bikini alone. I mean, wow. You know, like, it is astronomical, you know. And I mean, it's kind of one of those things that, hey, if you're gonna do it, then you should, you know, you need to be aware of the cost, right? But also I think it's a bit much. And yeah, it's a strain, especially for me personally, um at the end of prep. Like, I was feeling it. I was like pinching pennies, you know, like, you know, I wasn't going to Publix anymore. I was going to Walmart. Like, so
Yeah, no, we grew up on Walmart, you know. I remember back in the day when we were coming up, you go to Walmart, you spend $50, you fill up the cart. You go to Walmart, you very feel the thing when you put the baby in now. So, you know. But here we got a comment here from my man KL. He likes to, he says this says um yeah, what, oh, you know, I already said that earlier. Wait a minute, we so many here. Actually, okay. Here he goes. He says, what was training like on your recent show? So, what's your training like as you work out? And, you know, what are the things that you, as a competitor, you like the most, and the things you like the least when you're in the gym?
so my favorite day is back day. Back day. um my current split was shoulders, back, quads, chest and arms, repeat. That was my split. And I would train about 6 days a week, one day off. I'd kind of just throw it in whenever I felt like I needed it. And I know probably everyone's hearing, they're probably like, oh wait, you didn't say hamstrings and glutes. No, I don't train. I don't. And it's funny because I'll send my coach training videos and I'll slide like a glute focused or hamstring focused, you know. And of course, I'm not saying I neglect them completely, but I just don't. They're not my main focus points. And so sometimes I'll throw in there occasionally, and then he'll be like, "Yeah, make sure your knees are going over your toes." And I'm like, you know, I'm like, okay. Um, but yeah, so my favorite is back day. And cardio for me is very high. I'm definitely one of those people that can grow super quick, but it takes hell and high water for me to get lean. So that's definitely going to be my challenge moving forward. And this is pretty much me and Coach's first prep together. This was our first prep together. So I think we both learned a lot of things. We had a lot of in-depth conversations about like, okay, what are we going to do moving forward so that we don't have to go into like no man's land, because I'm like, I still have, like you said about the sponsorship, I still have a job. I still have to perform in my job. I, still have to, take care of my dog and like all these things, right? Just life, right? And I was struggling at the last little bit. I was struggling. So especially with, over 2 hours of cardio a day. It was tough.
Well, cardio, I mean, anything like cardio, I think most bodies don't like, but it's part of the process. Back, that's the most important thing to train your back. Because I remember I interviewed a lady who competed also at the show. She was trying to get a pro card in women's bodybuilding, and she said that her coach said that we might have to. I mean, she got a critique that she might have to work on her back a little more. And that's a good thing. You got to work on your weaknesses and also improve on your strengths. One person who's at that show who does have a great back is Teresa Vasic. I mean, her back is crazy. Here, we got a comment here from my man. This is my brother, XA Gucci 23. It says, salute George Page and Queen Dominique. Thank you, brother, for coming through. Salute to you. And, this is a lot about this sport that people don't understand. That there's so much to this to take, because it's not as easy as people think it is. Most people mindset of bodybuilding is like, I just pop a couple of magic pills and steroids, I get like, no, that's not that. That's only a small factor to bodybuilding. If you don't train, you don't work out, you don't follow a diet, you don't be consistent, you don't be disciplined, whatever stuff you take, you'll never be the same level as a top competitor like yourself. I got friends who tell me, say, George, some people can take the same gear I take, but they're not going to look like me. Some people look like shit.
Yeah, I mean, and that's absolutely true. Like you can be on, whatever steroids or gear, or whatever, that you could be on all of it, right? But if you don't actually do anything, if you don't train hard, if you don't train consistently, if you don't know how to train, that's a big thing. Like people don't understand, like you kind of need to, like, at least for me, I think you kind of need to know some like anatomy and physiology about your body. Like you need to know, I'm training my lats and how I'm training my lats and to get the stretch of your lats and to think about your lats. The lay person, the regular gym goer, like they don't do that. So yeah, you could be on steroids or whatever, but if you don't know how to train and you don't know how to eat, nothing's going to happen. It's not going to happen for you. So I actually had a friend reach out and she was asking me about steroids. And I was like, are you sure? I'm like, I don't think, I think she knew that I would know about it because, I'm in bodybuilding. And I was like, that it's not for everybody. If you're just trying to put on some muscle mass, go get yourself some protein, go get yourself some creatine, go get yourself some L-carnitine, those things will take you, and go get on a consistent training regimen and a good diet plan and a high protein diet plan, and you'll be good to go. When I told her, I was like, no, like, do you understand what you're taking? By, because there is a risk involved. And if you don't even, I asked her if she knew that it was a steroid, but she asked me for it. And she was like, oh, I had no idea. And I was like, well, yeah, I mean, when we have people out here like the Trend Brothers and the Trend Queen, all these things now, it's like, oh, well, you just must not be natural. Oh, you're just not natural. It's really easy to say that, but you don't actually understand the amount of work it takes to become that level of an athlete, that level of a bodybuilder. So it's like every time I see people just promoting steroids or, oh, are you natty? Are you the, and I'm just, it just, ugh.
It's
Yeah,
it's
it's like, never mind,
it's mostly a bit of ignorance and what they hear from mainstream media, not find out the truth. Like one thing is steroids is not everything. If you think about it, it wasn't that long ago we had the Olympics, and there's been dozens of scandals with steroids use. If you like baseball, there was that whole congressional hearing. These are guys who are practically millionaires. If they want to use it, let them use. It's in birth control. It's in we use inhaler. It's so easy to pick on bodybuilding because you don't attain that level of muscle without using something. But like I said, if you're not consistent, you don't follow a diet, you don't eat, you don't work on a plan. You have to be regimental. That's the thing about you being in the military. You have that regimental mentality that helps you. Here we got here from a man, Lar. He was there at the Olympics. Shout out to Lar. He says, hello, friend George. Hi, Dominique. Nice to hear about your journey. Appreciate it, brother. Also, he says, hi there, Dominique. You look amazing. What's your favorite muscle group you train? So, do you have any sponsors? Well, I asked her. I think she said, she doesn't have any sponsors. But what is it? Like I said, you said your favorite muscle group was your back. So
Yep, back day, no
your
sponsors,
back.
but I'm really open to it.
Yeah, that'd be great. I mean, sponsor does help. Also, this is from a man, KL. He says, this he asks like, how long do you spend time working out in the gym? So what's like I said, you're still in the military, and what's your schedule like? Especially for gym time.
So my regular day job is I'm actually a deputy for Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office.
Wait. You are a cop?
I am.
Hey folks, we had a cop. You're not the first one to have has been a cop. I mean, she's a pretty little deputy. So you can frisk me anytime, deputy. So how long you been doing that?
I'm sorry?
How long you been a deputy? How long you been doing that?
5 years.
Wow, and you're still in the military, so you reservist?
Yes, so I'm in the Army Reserve, yes.
Okay, so and go ahead and tell the rest of the story.
So as a deputy, we work 12-hour shifts. And so 1 week is my short week, which this week is my short week, and then next week is my long week. So it's like I work 24 hours 1 week, and I work 60 hours at 12-hour shifts the next. And I find it difficult. The consistency portion is difficult just because so much of my day is consumed by work when I am working. So think about it, right? If I have to be at work at 7 to 7, but really I have to be there at 6:45, right? So 6:45 to like 6:45, right? Well, I need to wake up at 5 to get ready for work. But I need to do, my fasted cardio, right? So now that's like 4 a.m. So 4 to 5, I'm doing cardio. Okay, well now I'm waking up at 3:30 a.m. But guess what? I just got done I just got off a 12-hour shift and did an hour training and an hour of cardio. So now that's what, 7:30 I start training. 7:30 to 8:30 is gym time, and then 8:30 to 9:30 is cardio, and then I come home, shower, take care of my dog, and then now it's like 11 o'clock at 11:30 p.m. that I'm going to bed to wake up again at 3 a.m. So it's tough. It's really tough. So the schedule is a bit gruesome for me, and I typically will take out the morning cardio and just keep everything all at night. To best counteract that, so I'm not just having like this long ass day. like both waking up early and staying up late, because at the end of the day, I'm going to stay up late because, the gym is the gym, right? But typically that's what I do. And then if I do like miss any time, like say I only did an hour and a half instead of 2 hours of cardio, then the next day on my day off, then I'll make up for that and I'll do 2.5 hours of cardio as well as train. So
That's
there's
a
definitely
lot.
room for improvement.
That's a
But
lot because I can tell you, I've held down 2 jobs. I was working when I was 16, my first real job. Well, my family was sharecroppers, and I did a little sharecropping when I was younger. By the time I was 10 years old, I was working in the fields. And I was working my first real job at 16 as a gas station. I was there as a stock person, then I was I was a cashier, then I was assistant manager. I worked at a textile plant for 13 years. I also worked at a gentleman's club for 6 years. I mean, I can tell you a job, especially working a night job, a day job, you don't see like you don't have enough hours in a day. But that's the thing is, especially for a bodybuilder, you try to find the time. You try to work in something in the schedule or during your break or just it's just a lot to it, especially if you're determined to compete in this level of bodybuilding. Here we got here. This is from our man MB1's on. He says, how you manage to get your needed rest on top of training while working 12-hour shifts. That is a miracle.
yeah. Yeah. So it's tough. Like I'm telling you, it's tough. I typically, and maybe this isn't the right answer, like I said, there's always room for improvement, but I will just extra rest, catch up rest on my days off. So, and I know that's not the right answer, but that's just the answer. Because I mean, as I just explained, you know, I tell if there's some if there's some time that you guys are seeing that that I'm not seeing, please let me know. But it's just such it's a it's a tough, challenging schedule. But I love it. I love bodybuilding. I love what I do, and I want to be good at it. So I have to sacrifice a little rest.
Mm-hmm. That's the thing about bodybuilding. There's so much about sacrifices to it.
Mm.
You have to really trade off enjoying life to get to that next level. Here we got here. My man says put an S on your chest. And yeah, that's the thing. You gotta be like a superwoman. Kia has a question. He says, uh, any criminal chase stories?
um. So I'm actually a detention deputy. So I work inside the jail. So I haven't had any crazy chases. I have had some pretty crazy uh, takedown stories and stuff like that, but I won't say them on here. Yeah, I don't want to get in trouble. But yeah, I have some good stories.
Well, you got to think about it. You're in there. You're in the prison. I mean, I knew a lady who also was a sheriff deputy. She also worked in the jails, and she told me this crazy story one time. She said, like, you know, um, she had a guy coming through, and he said to her every night, "I'm thinking about you," and that's wild. I mean, it's just crazy.
It is. It is. You will see some stuff that you you'll see stuff in there that you wouldn't even imagine. And I mean, especially honestly, first and foremost is like the mental health crisis and like the drug crisis. I've seen some stuff, man. There are some seriously messed up people. So I'll tell you this one. This one's kind of more funny. Um, so I work in psychiatric general population. So basically, female inmates who have like mental issues. Um, and So there was this one, I was working on night shift at the time, and there was this one, everyone's supposed to be silent, no one's supposed to be talking. And I stepped into the bathroom and I hear my pod, like I hear my inmates talking. And I'm like, oh, hell no. So then I come out of the bathroom and I'm like, who's talking? You like, what are you guys, because they're not following the rules, right? So I'm like, what's going on? Why are you guys talking? Who's talking? Let me find out. I can't even go to the bathroom. Like, what's up? And they were like, crickets. And I was like, oh, nobody wants to talk now? And so then finally they were like, it was her, Miss G. Like, she, they just call me Miss G. They were like, it's her, Deputy Gist. Like, she just keeps talking, or she's talking to herself. And I was like, okay. So I walk over and she's holding a towel like this, like cradling a towel. And she's like crying, like, wah, wah, like going like this, wah. And I walk over and I'm like, so then I have to change, right? I'm like, because she is certifiably out of her mind. And I'm like, hey, what's going on? And she goes, my baby won't stop crying. And I was like, oh, shoot. It's like, well, did you feed him? She's like, yeah, I fed him. I said, did you burp him? Yeah, I did. And I was like, okay. I said, well, just keep rocking him, and just try to make sure that he's quiet, because people are trying to sleep right now. And I said, and I'd hate to have to put you and the baby in the holding cell.